What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Fresh off the Ship Shawana show. That's right. I just got out of the car after a 4-hour drive recording this video. Gonna go get myself some dinner and then relax and watch some basketball. Ship show was really good. Shout out to everyone that stopped by to say hello at trade night and or at the show itself. Had an absolute blast. Picked up some cool stuff. We will save that for a video. Most likely tomorrow, I'll do a full recap breakdown of the Ship Shawana show. The one spoiler I will give is that place was packed. I mean, packed. I was at the show in November there. It was busy. This place was super busy. I had a feeling it was heading that direction because the trade night on Friday night was way busier than the trade night in November. Like astronomically more busy. And the show itself was slamming pretty much right from the get. I got there at 8:45. The show opened at 9, and it was almost wall to wall from like 9:30 to 9:45 until when I left a little bit after lunch. So, but like I said, I'll save the breakdown for that for tomorrow's video. A couple things off the top that I kind of want to chat about today. A lot of stuff actually happened this week. We're going to limit it down to two things. One, there was obviously the CSG label change and the grading scale change, which I actually think the grading scale change is a bigger deal than the label change. I'm curious. I put a poll up on Saturday night, actually, right before I started recording this video. I'm curious to see, has anyone's thoughts changed about this whole CSG situation? As you know, you kind of had some time to marinate on it a little bit. I think really what it's going to come down to is we need to see the labels and slabs in hand with the new label. It's one thing to look at the picture on the internet. It's another thing to actually have it in your hand. My general take, without seeing one in person, is still the same. It's an improvement. It's not like a game changer. It's not the best label ever created. But I don't know that they needed to create the best label ever created. So we'll see how things kind of shake out once we actually get them in hand. I guess cards currently being graded by CSG are getting the new label treatment right now. So, you know, it's potentially we could see those cards back soon. Like those cards could already be shipping back to people right now with the new label on it. So I'll be interested to see those start to pop up on unboxing videos and stuff. I'm half tempted just to send them something random, just to get something slabbed, just to kind of see what stuff looks like in there. But we'll see. The other big thing that happened, and probably actually the biggest thing that caused all sorts of drama and shenanigans, was the biggest break ever thing. Anyone not in the loop on this, essentially Leighton and Blaze, I believe, along with Golden and a bunch of other corporate sponsors, teamed up to do a massive flawless case break. It was 40,000 a spot to rip. I forget how many cases of flawless that they had, but it was a couple $1 million or 1 point some $1 million or whatever. And the big chase out of flawless is this LeBron triple logo, man, and everyone wants it. And Drake's ripping cases for it. The flawless stuff is crazy right now. It's caused box prices to spike. It still hasn't been pulled that we know of. Someone could have pulled it and just not public with it yet. There's bounties on this card, the whole 9 yards. So anyways, this was hyped up as like the pinnacle event. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I watched the whole thing, because I didn't. Honestly, I just couldn't take it anymore and turned it off part of the way in, and then just kind of kept checking in on it. First, it started and they didn't even rip the first box or case or whatever until I think 30 or 45 minutes in. They preambled for nonsense. There was a ton of issues with this thing, honestly. The thing that they're taking the most heat about is the model thing and just the general look, and a ton of other stuff. They had cards off camera. They had bikini models, which is a whole other situation. They had terrible video quality. One of the breakers was running around shirtless. Chat was an absolute, like, just a pure mess on the live stream, especially when the women would come on camera. The whole thing was a mess. For this thing to be, Leighton released a statement while it was ongoing about like basically saying, we didn't know what we got into, sorry, but the show went on with no changes. The whole thing was a PR disaster, to be quite honest with you, from top to bottom. And a lot of people are focusing on the model thing. And that was a bad look, in my opinion. That's not how you should be promoting something like this when you're trying to be inclusive and bring more people into the hobby. It's just not a great look at all, regardless whether they wanted to be there, whether they were getting paid, whatever. It's off-putting to people potentially trying to enter the hobby, and or people that wanted to share this experience with their family, and then all of a sudden chat is being ridiculous. And Leighton is typically known as a family-friendly breaker. They don't swear. They don't do a lot of the shenanigans that you see. And then they got kind of drug into this. But I mean, it was their choice. They could have said, hey, we're not doing this anymore unless things change or whatever. But the whole thing was a disaster. I would love to have been a fly on the wall while Fanatics was watching this thing. I am sure this is not how they want to promote and grow the hobby with this basically clown show that happened on Thursday night. I saw some quotes from the Mint Collective this week, and that's ongoing right now. I'm sure a bunch of news will come out of that. Luber said like 2 to 3 million people transacted a card in the last year or two. And Fanatics has a user base of 80 million people as an avenue for growth, like to kind of show where this could potentially go. And I have to imagine they watched this, because everyone was watching this thing to some degree or another. I have to imagine they looked at that and were like, what in the hell is happening? That's the type of stuff that's not going to fly, in my opinion, under Fanatics when they rule it all. Because they'll just pull your allocation for doing crap like that, the way that entire thing was ran from top to bottom. And once again, I'm not citing any one particular issue. There's a cavalcade of issues from that whole break. So that's my general thoughts on that. People have been asking me, and I didn't watch it all because I had it up, but I wasn't listening to all of it. I would tune in and then immediately just want to turn the iPad off and stop watching it. So it was a mess. Apparently, I'll throw this third thing in there. I have not seen any additional details on this yet. Beckett did something with vaulting and NFTs, and I don't really know. I need to dig into that more. Maybe that'll be its own video. I'm just not sure what's happening with that yet. So I need to do a little bit more homework on that one. It came out on IG on Friday night in the middle of Dakota's live stream. And it was the weirdest thing ever. So I need to get into that one a little bit more. But let's get into some charts and graphs. Sorry for the longer than normal preamble there. Maybe we'll keep it short on the back end. But like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube jazz down below. Today's video, as always, is sponsored by MySlabs.com, as they have been sponsoring the Sunday videos for a while now. So shout out to them. Shout out to Ken. Him and his team are crushing it. I think they had a statistic that they had 700 raw card sales or something in the month of March, and only one return initiated. So shout out to them. And they've been doing a really good job about, like, people are posting a lot of pictures of this buyer didn't pay in 24 hours. And then there's a note at the bottom of it. This user's account has been banned from MySlabs. Because if you no pay on MySlabs, you are gone, sir or madam. So quick word from our sponsor, and then we will dive into actual charts and graphs.
The platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20% or more to sell something from your collection? Head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace. By collectors, for collectors.
Once again, thank you to MySlabs for sponsoring today's video. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into market movers. Link in the description down below. If you want fancy charts and graphs, you can find them there. Let's talk football first, then baseball, and briefly touch on basketball. Biggest news of the week, football-wise, the Tyreek Hill trade. This swung to his value, not massively, but swung to his value. You can see what I did something a little bit different this time. This is Tua's PSA 10s from Prism Optics Select and Mosaic from his rookie year. This is price movements by player, a tool that I sometimes use, and I found in this case it might be an easy way to talk about some of these players. So essentially what this does is it lumps all those cards together that fall into those qualifiers and then spits out the data for you. So for all of his Prism Optic Select and Mosaic PSA 10s, they are up 17% over the last 17 days. So on a macro level, Tua is up about 20%. The interesting thing there is the volume change. It is 135% increase in volume over the previous 7 days, which I did find amusing. So massive jump in volume there. And massive 20% jump is no joke, especially on someone like Tua. His stuff was dirt cheap, so his stuff was bound to spike. A couple other little ripple effects from all this. Tyreek Hill, this one's a weird one in my opinion. His stuff jumped. This is his PSA 10 Silver Prism. This is a pretty low pop card. There's only about 300 of them. It went from about $165 to $170 up to $230. This is the ultimate sell the news. I don't know. I mean, like, the Dolphins are going to be cool and all. Do we really think Tyreek Hill is going to put up the same numbers with the Dolphins that he put up with the Chiefs? I don't think so. I would probably be selling this. If I had Tyreek Hill stuff, and you're telling me his stuff spiked 35% off a trade to the Dolphins, I think I would just move it. Even if Tua fails and then they bring in a replacement quarterback a year later, you would have the ultimate buy it back. If Tua fails and Tyreek Hill puts up bad numbers, then you'll be able to buy Tyreek Hill back cheaper later in the year. So if you're holding Tyreek Hill stuff, now might be a good exit plan for you. I just found that very interesting. And once again, maybe this was just like one lone rogue one-off sale, and it's not really. Maybe there's ones already listed cheaper or whatever. But regardless, Tyreek Hill stuff is buzzy right now. It might not be a bad idea to move out of it. Another one that saw a jump a little bit on the lower end here, Milko Hardman, because he is going to take over. His stuff went from, this is just base Prism PSA 10, nothing crazy here. Stuff went from $10 to $45. This is another one. I'd be selling these as fast as humanly possible. Nothing against Hardman, but if they could bring in someone bigger, better, and badder, they are 100% will, and he's going to go right back to his old role of being, a second, third, fourth wide receiver, and generally speaking, being above average at best. So this is another one. Move it. I would just be selling it. Take the profits. I 100% think you'll be able to buy back Hardman later if you really, really want him. I'd be moving his stuff personally, but that's just me. Last but not least, I almost wanted to save this for its own thing. Tom Brady stuff continues to decline, at least his Bowman Chrome base anyway. You could see the last couple sales here. It spiked up to 17K based off the news of him coming back, then went down to 15.5, and then now is down to 14.5. And generally speaking, has been trending down since, mid-season. This is mid-November right here, this spike. And it's been going down since. There's a little spike up with like playoff runs and stuff. But generally speaking, definitely a downward trend, say, from Thanksgiving straight down. I zoomed this way out just to kind of show a picture here. Brady was one of the few that was not massively negatively impacted by the massive run-up. He never had like a huge pullback. He had a pullback. You could see it there, but nowhere near as extreme as some of the other guys did. So it's just, I'm very curious to see where this card settles in at, especially now that he's back. I mean, he has a chance to win another Super Bowl. So we'll just kind of see what happens here. And also, I forgot how crazy this run up was on his stuff. This was late January, mid to late January. It was $9,000, and by the end of the month, it was $25,000. Wild times early 2021 in the hobby, folks. Wild times. So we'll see where this goes. Something to keep an eye on. Baseball, very quickly. A couple guys getting a little bit of bumps. One, Acuna Jr., his refractor's up just a little tiny bit, a little 13% increase there. Tatis, his chrome refractor down a little bit. Not surprising. His stuff has been starting to slip through the cracks a little bit. This is his PSA 10 refractor, base tops chrome, or not base tops chrome, just tops chrome. Down $82, 15% decrease, down to $420 from a starting average of 500. And I went back 14 days on this one. So I believe that is pre-break or right around the injury. So his stuff, it kind of seems like it's taking a hot minute for that stuff to kick in. Bobby Witt, once again, another price movement by player rather than individual card thing here on Bobby Witt. The interesting note here is more the volume change. His stuff is only up 8%, and I just pulled his Bowman. So there's about 25 cards here. This is basically all his different Bowman and Bowman Chrome variations, autos, everything, all lumped into one, all PSA 10. Or graded cards only, I'm sorry. He had a very hot start to the week, and you could see that volume-wise anyways, prices haven't necessarily spiked way up. Some of his stuff has. But volume-wise, his stuff is extremely liquid right now. It is moving. People are buying it. That's what I like about this volume change percentage. I don't talk about this one very often, but it's just interesting to see, what swung from the previous 7 or 14 or 30 days, to this period. It gives you an idea of who's hot right now, who's getting bought a lot, like outside of where they normally are. Let's swing over and look at basketball really quick and kind of wrap things up. Like I said, I want to keep this one a little bit shorter just because I've had a very, very long weekend. Zion Silver Prism, PSA 10. Holding strong even with the news that he is done for the season. Actually crept up a little bit to 1750. I will be curious if we have seen the bottom on this card, at least for the time being. I don't think we see another drop on this card over the summer. My best guess is it kind of holds right around here and slowly starts creeping up again. I actually think him being out for the season is a benefit from a card perspective because it means he can't get hurt. I guess he could get hurt in practice, but he had a little IG post of him doing some sick one-on-one dunk or something. He would be an interesting hold to move at, a late summer, early fall show if he could stay healthy over the offseason. I will tell you, you do not see a lot of Zion on the tables at shows. At least I don't. Locally, I never see Zion on tables. At the Shipshewana show yesterday on Saturday, I saw a couple. I think I saw 2 or 3 Zion Silvers in the entire building and not much else Zion. People just are not putting them out, probably because they're super underwater on them and they just don't want to move them at current prices. So if you could get Zion at current comps, and listen, I am not the biggest Zion guy in the world, but if you could get good deals on Zion and just hold it for 3 months, 4 months, it's not the worst play in the world, in my opinion. I was actually potentially looking at some stuff at the ship show, but just couldn't make any deals on anything. But it's definitely an angle. It's risky. It definitely comes with risk because he absolutely, if he re-injures his foot in rehab or in summer league, not like he's gonna play in summer league, but like practicing over the summer or whatever, and that news leaks out, he is toast. But if he stays healthy, the hype machine's going to kick in. And if he starts rumbling about trying to force a trade to the Knicks or something like that, there's a whole lot of paths that his cards could go up and even potentially spike up. There's also some paths to pure devastation. So just keep that in mind. You're definitely playing with fire with him, but I could see both positive and negative outcomes with him. So tread at your own risk there. And then last but not least, the hottest player in the NBA, Jason Tatum, and the Boston Celtics. Tatum is playing out of his mind right now, along with the entire Celtics team. This is his Silver Prism, and I pulled this one out a little bit, 30 days. Who says you can't make money in ultramodern basketball anymore? His silver prism is up almost double from $800 in or late February, early March to $1,400, a 73% increase, up $600. And his stuff's basically a rocket ship right now. They are playing absolutely great. They're just killing teams. And he's a big reason why. For whatever reason, he always struggles. Steve and I were talking about this on Friday night on Dakota's live stream. He struggles the first half of the season, but man, oh man, the second half of the season, he turns it on. He did the same thing last year. He had a major run in the early spring as the led into the NBA playoffs where he went on a tear and his stuff spiked. So we'll see what happens. If they can make a deep finals run or whatever, and the way they're playing right now, they absolutely can. So we'll keep an eye on Tatum stuff. That's all I got for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, we'll keep this one a little short just so I could go get a little bit of rest. And we will catch you guys and girls tomorrow. Most likely, Ship Shawana pickups. So a little card show / trade night pickups. I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Well, 3.5. Well, I'll throw 3 in a cool gift. And then another big ticket item, actually, that is not a card. Follow me on IG. Spoilers, you already know what it is. But picked up a pretty decent sized item that was not a card. It was not. There's no way I was expecting to walk out of that card show when I walked in the morning with the item that I walked out with. My biggest purchase of the entire trip. Never in a million years that I think I'd be walking out of Shipshewana, Indiana with this. So I'll leave it at that. But catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.